Hey, now it's the Rob from 106.1 Kiss FM here with my tag team partner in podcasting.
What's up, Eric Cornish with WKDQ. Another week and another pay-per-view gone. And Battleground was quite interesting last night.
Yeah.
And I'm going to start off by saying that for the most part, except for one match, I think I pretty much nailed it.
You had great,
which is odd.
Yeah, you know what?
Because I wasn't confident about anything.
And I did what always kills me. I overthought everything.
Yeah.
If I would have just gone with my gut, up until I started thinking about it, I thought that Seth Rollins was going to win last night. Up until I thought about it, I thought Randy Orton was going to win last night. It was when I sat down and thought about things is when I killed myself. But yeah, you did a really good job predicting the winners.
It was weird. I mean, and even the way some of it happened, I was like, dang, I kind of nailed it and didn't even really expect to.
Yeah, no, I know what you mean.
So, even though I picked Miz to win, they didn't have a match, obviously, but I think I said something about, like, Big Show coming down and just one punch and being done, and
yeah.
It's like, dang, man, this was actually finally, I guess, somewhat predictable, even though it was not.
We know you are secretly Mets fan on Reddit or whatever that.
Oh, that's it. Yeah.
We know it's Cornish.
I'm that guy. No, but let's kind of start from whatever you want to discuss. What do you think? Is
there much to talk about with the Undercard? I mean, there were some matches where stuff happened and some matches where it didn't. You want to focus on the ones that did?
I mean, one thing I did notice about this card, first of all, I think I read somewhere to where there were 17 guys who were on last year's Battleground that were not on this year's show.
Oh, I didn't read that.
And at least one guy from each match from last year was not on the card this year. Weird. And of course they did have a big Intercontinental Battle Royal last year, so I mean there's a lot of guys, and some of those guys are not even with the company anymore. But yeah, I mean guys like Jericho, who was here last year as a part-timer, was not there.
Whose status I never know. Is he with the company? Is he not? I never know what's going on.
But then you've got guys like Dean Ambrose, who probably should have been on the card that wasn't. Kane obviously with the storyline injury. You got Rusev. You got Cesaro. Guys like this who are in the mix that weren't on this card. Because of that, you had a lot of long matches. Did you notice that?
Definitely.
A lot of time for matches, which I'm not complaining, and I think they were good. I mean, thoughts on the Randy Orton-Sheamus match to open the card?
Well, the one thing I want to mention before we get to that is I did feel like Dean Ambrose was noticeably absent.
Yeah.
Although any match they put him in would have been forced because he's not really doing much right now.
Yeah, but I think I see where this is going. But
you might be right.
But anyway, let's Randy Orton-Sheamus. I mean, it's a match we've seen a lot. But I think they went out there and they did a good job, and it was a long match, but it was good.
There wasn't much to it. There wasn't a whole lot memorable or forgettable. It was just, I would call that a normal match. Not much to talk about. I feel like you could say was the tag match next.
Yeah. Well, before we get to that, there was a lot of buzz in there too, because that match was first, and it was typical. Like, hey, early in the card, you got the Money in the Bank winner, and then he loses, and everybody was talking, oh, cash in, cash in. I don't see it. I don't have the buzz on this cash-in like I have in the past with guys like Rollins and, where you knew, even Orton, where you thought this could happen. I just don't see Sheamus fitting in this world title mix at all.
Well, you're right, and I agree with you right now, but they do have a year to build with that.
So I mean, it may just happen to shock us all, but I don't see it. I don't see Sheamus in this mix, and I don't see a cash-in anytime soon.
And don't forget, he doesn't have to win.
No, he doesn't.
He can cash in and lose.
No, I even thought what would have been great last night, let's say, Lesnar would have won, and and then him, say he got destroyed by the Undertaker afterwards, and then here comes Sheamus down. I can still see Lesnar standing up, F5 and be over,
exactly.
And nothing hurt there for Lesnar. But the Sheamus with the Money in the Bank, I'm not sold on. I don't really see what's happening, but anyway, yeah.
Gonna give it a little bit of time before I write it off.
Yeah, then we go to the tag team match. Again, I tell you what, the New Day just keeps delivering, in my opinion, and primetime players, great job too.
I thought there was some innovative offense from New Day. Like, I liked a lot of they did a few spots that landed on the apron.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I kind of dug that. I feel like that part of the ring hurts more.
Yeah.
At least looks more devastating if it doesn't. But I enjoyed it as much as I expected to.
And Xavier Woods, I mean, even if he's not, he does well in the ring, but I mean, having him outside the ring to do what he's doing and to just keep, running his mouth, he's great at running his mouth and is that just bringing out that heel character. So I like the way it went.
Great friends of ours too.
They are the best of friends.
Absolutely. Yeah. A lot of positivity. Was the Divas next? I'm trying to remember.
Let's see. Was it the Divas? Or see, it feels like there was something else in there first.
So it was probably forgettable because we're not remembering it.
But anyway, let's talk about the Divas. What did you think about this Divas Revolution thing that's going on?
They had a very exciting debut on Monday, and it's impossible for that to carry over week after week after week. It was very exciting that it was some of their first matches on the main roster. It was a great Divas match. But this intensity is not going to last, very long. Yeah,
it's weird that the crowd, even a crowd like St. Louis, which can be a little bit like a Chicago or New York crowd, it's probably third tier, but it's there, you know what I mean? And they are kind of a smart crowd. They were still cheering, and people cheering for the Divas. I mean, that's a step above. Here's the problem I have with this whole thing. I think, it's great to have Charlotte there. I'm still not sold on her abilities as much as I am on Sasha Banks, who I think is better. But I think what they did last night was, again, what they do with Divas. And it's not a revolution if you keep doing what you've always done with Divas. It's like, you can't just have... I'd have been okay with last night if they'd have shortened a couple matches and maybe had 2 different Divas matches. Mm-hmm. Maybe had one for the title with Nikki, and then maybe had 2 of the new girls fight, like Charlotte and Sasha Banks. If you've got different storylines going on within the Divas, that's what makes a revolution. That's what makes the Divas division better. But what they do with Divas, and they always do, is they just lump them all together at one time and throw them all in there.
Sure.
And that's not going to fix this situation if they keep doing that. Now, if that's just what they're doing to debut it, fine. But just throw all the Divas in at one time, that's not the answer.
It does seem like a byproduct or a side effect of the way they're introducing these Divas, and this has happened before with other superstars coming up from NXT. It's making the Divas that have been there step their game up a little bit.
It is doing that, yeah.
And that's a great thing that's happening, because it's not only introducing new talent, it's improving the existing talent, and that's good. So I was happy to see that.
Okay. So let's talk Bray and Roman, which I think that's what came before the Divas. They were switched, but great match. I enjoyed this match a lot.
Something happened finally. If nothing else, we got somewhere.
I enjoyed the back and forth. There was a lot of action. That was a long match too, and a lot of false finishes. I love that Luke Harper, and I mentioned that in our prediction, saying that I think this would be a good time for Luke Harper to come back.
You did a great job on the predictions.
Glad he did. I'm not trying to toot my own horn, but I'm just shocked. That's why I'm...
But not only did something happen, but it was the right thing that happened.
It was the right thing to happen. And I thought that the one thing I didn't like about this match, and I know you said you were a hater on Roman Reigns on our predictions, I hated his comeback. He had a very lazy comeback. He was, as he was fighting back towards the end, had some horrible punches. It was lazy. Didn't look good. So Roman, get your wind back and start making a better comeback, because it was not believable to me. But other than that, match was pretty good. I like that Harper's back with Wyatt.
And work on those GD facials. Your face never changes. It's always the same thing. Have some expression. Like, you look at Bray, he's got these crazy eyes, and when he's about ready to do something, he looks like his face changes. Every wrestler's face changes. It's always this. It's almost like he's wearing a Roman Reigns mask.
And put it this way: Roman Reigns is in incredible shape. Bray Wyatt is shapes. Yeah. And Bray Wyatt never loses that gas, and he is always at 100% going strong. So that's my only critique.
Cena Owens.
Cena Owens. There's a couple things here. One, I don't think we got anything different out of this match. It was still a good match. I love the action in it. Still a lot of false finishes and kicking out of finishers, which I've complained about in the last 2. I have no problem with the finish at all. None. And I think Owens is still better because of this feud than he was before.
Oh, well, that's inarguable.
I mean, I think Owens is in a great position right now.
Yeah.
But all of the people, you know, and especially the very smart marks, and I've seen them complaining about this finish. Again, don't worry about Kevin Owens. He's going to be fine.
I do wish he would have left with the title, but it added to the suspense for me. Like, knowing that he could have won made it more fun for me. I do like the false finish, so that there were a lot of kickouts of finishers, which I do think is a bad move as well, at least that many times. Mm-hmm. This will be the least memorable of their 3 matches that they had on the Supercards, I feel like. The first one was the best. The second one had that very memorable finish of, you know, not accepting the handshake and that kind of thing, and some brutal spots. This one, while it was the least memorable, I felt like it was the best wrestling match that they had. I felt like if they were trying to make like a tape to send off to a bigger company to get hired, this would be the one they would send. It told the best like story, it flowed better to me. But I felt like it was their least memorable, and I do wish that Owens left with the title.
Owens is just the consummate heel. He's got a great future, I do believe. I'd love to see some stuff with him and like Brock even.
Yeah.
I mean, I
would love an
this
Owens
could be
Brock
really good. So,
and it could happen.
Yeah, and so first of all, we talked about the Miz and Big Show segment. Fine, it's what it was, and you know, kind of what I expected. And then we've got the main event. Interesting. Not at all. I mean, yes. We talked about the rumors of the Undertaker. Talked about him costing Brock, you know, the match. However, the way that it just ended. The referee and Rollins just disappeared. Where are they?
True. That's part of the Undertaker's mystique.
I guess so.
First of all, how cool would that have been if we didn't know that was going to happen?
Oh.
Or if we didn't have that seed in our head.
Yeah.
To have just gone from 0 to Undertaker would have been amazing.
Yeah, and there were a lot of people in that crowd that I don't think knew that.
Probably right.
And the reaction showed. For sure, because you go from people cheering Brock like crazy. I mean, because he was super over. He was definitely the babyface in this match. They wanted to see him tear Rollins apart, and then all of a sudden, boom, like that. All of a sudden, he's the heel. Undertaker's up here. Great finish to that match.
Yeah, very memorable. Very very story-like. The way they were telling it,
and a good way to get out of it without Rollins losing the title.
Yeah, and that's what's important too, is that Rollins still has the belt, and he does it like, I don't want to call it cowardly, but it was a little bit cowardly. He didn't win, and that's what Rollins does best. And it set everything up very cleanly. I don't exactly know where they're going at SummerSlam, but I know everything's got a direction now, so I'm happy with that.
I almost see SummerSlam, and maybe I'm wrong here, maybe Cena Rollins at SummerSlam.
I will say this, my friends are talking about Lesnar and Undertaker at SummerSlam. You think?
Yeah, I think so.
I'm thinking WrestleMania.
You think so?
I don't know.
I don't think so. I see Lesnar Undertaker.
Okay, and maybe it is
SummerSlam.
Either way, I'm excited to see it. You know, I do think that there's kind of a little bit of a gap, a year and a half between this feud. So I have some problems there, but I'm excited to see it. Don't get me wrong.
Looking at SummerSlam, I think you're going to have the triple threat match that didn't happen last night. I think you're going to have, obviously some kind of tag team situation with these guys again. I would imagine. I think you're going to see Undertaker Lesnar. I think you're going to see Rollins Cena. That's my pick right now. It would be Rollins Cena. Maybe I don't, and maybe Cena loses the U.S. title on the Raw.
Cena should have dropped the strap.
I agree, but the challenge on Raw, that kind of makes it more exciting. Maybe somebody like maybe Cesaro takes it from Cena. I don't know.
Who knows? Where do you think Owens goes from here?
That I don't know. See, that's the only part that I'm having problems with, because I think I think Ambrose obviously comes in and helps Reigns going into the Wyatt feud. And maybe that's a tag match to set up for SummerSlam. I don't know where Owens goes. I mean, obviously he's going to have the match the night before SummerSlam, so maybe he doesn't work SummerSlam. I don't know, because he's going to be going into NXT there at the Barclays Center the night before against
with Jushin Thunder Liger.
Well, yeah, he's not wrestling Liger, but
I know someone is.
It's Tyler Breeze. Tyler Breeze is wrestling Liger. So. I don't know. Maybe Owens doesn't work 2 nights in a row.
Yeah, maybe. Or I feel like it's going to be someone involved in that angle, whether it be Cesaro, Rusev, or Ziggler. Somebody in that camp, I feel like, is going to be.
Cesaro that'd be a good matchup there.
And overall letter grade for the show last night.
I would give it a solid B plus actually, and for
really?
you know, yeah, I think so. I mean, just for the the action that was there, I would, and maybe just a B. And here's why. I would take off the plus because they didn't utilize all of the talent that they could have to make the show better.
I feel like the show was a C plus. There were some people missing, like Ambrose. There were a lot of matches where I feel like not a lot happened. There were two pretty memorable moments, I feel like, with Luke Harper teaming up with Bray, and The Undertaker's obviously returning. But outside of that, somewhat forgettable. C plus, B minus for me.
Okay, sounds good, and we will see where we go from here into SummerSlam, which I guess WWE fancies as their second biggest show of the year. So
biggest party of the summer.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're looking for some big things coming up, and interesting to see what happens on Raw tonight. If you got any comments, let us know at the eTalent. You can tweet us, you can send it to our email addresses, and of course, subscribe too. And always fun to be here with you.
That's right. We'll be back on Thursday with another edition of the Enhancement Talent.